Hi, this is Chatterboxing. I'm Sean, and I want to talk a little bit about this Anthony Joshua Carlos Takam fight. Talk a little bit as well about Dillian Whyte, Deontay Wilder, Joseph Parker. Let's start with the Takam Joshua situation. I saw yesterday that the fight with Pulev had been called off. I was quite disappointed at first. I was looking forward to that fight. I thought it was going to be pretty good. I mean, I was picking Joshua to win, but I thought it was going to be interesting. And I saw it originally on Facebook. Some of the names that were being thrown about didn't really look that appealing, to be honest. So when they did announce it was Carlos Takam, I was quite pleasantly surprised. I was quite happy with that, to be honest. I think it's a decent replacement, especially at such a short notice. Um, Now I think it's going to be quite a tough fight for Joshua. I mean, don't get me wrong, I expect him to win, but I don't think it's going to be easy at all, especially bearing in mind he would have been preparing for fighting Pulev, who's taller, longer, more of a sort of a better long range boxer, potentially be a bit more negative, a bit more defensive minded. Whereas Takam, he's a bit shorter. He's not a bad boxer, but he's a bit, better fighting on the inside, bit tougher than Pulev, in my opinion. And I can see him kind of putting it on him a bit more of a pressure fighting style. So that's going to be a challenge for Joshua to fight a good quality opponent. Not saying he's one of the best in the world, but he's a good quality opponent at short notice. So that's going to be interesting to see. Um, I was quite happy that Dillian Whyte didn't take the fight. Now I don't know if he was offered it, but when I saw this originally, as I say, it was on Facebook. And there were lots of people talking about, I hope like Dillian Whyte steps in. Dillian Whyte should take it and all that. And I'm glad he didn't. As a fan of Dillian Whyte, I think he would have been selling himself a bit short, stepping in there at that short notice with no real preparation to fight against someone who's already beaten him. I mean, when he did fight Joshua, he was very inexperienced. So was Joshua. He had an injury in his shoulder. Some people say it's an excuse. I don't think so. I don't see him as the kind of person to make excuses. I think it's genuine. I think he's improving. I think he is improving. I think he has improved and he's continuing to improve. Doing a lot of work outside of the ring as well, a lot in the training. He's been in loads of different training camps. Been, worked with Jonathan Banks. Now he's working with Mark Tibbs. So I like the progression of Dillian Whyte's career, and I wouldn't like to see him sell himself short there. I'd like to see him go for a fight for a world title. I think he could do it, with the proper preparation, give himself the best possible opportunity of winning. Now, Deontay Wilder is the fight I'd like to see most out of him and Joseph Parker. I'd like to see him fight either either Wilder or Parker. I prefer to see Wilder because I think it'd be. First of all, I think Wilder is at the top of the division. I think Parker's a little bit below. And also think that the personalities would clash better and the build-up would be a lot more fun. And I just think it would be, for me, it's the most attractive fight for Dillian Whyte at this stage. Eddie Hearn, apparently they're going to make him another offer for the early next year. Now, Wilder and a lot of his fans have been quite dismissive of that, and they've basically said they're not interested. They want to fight the champion, Anthony Joshua, and not Dillian Whyte. I can sort of understand like where he's coming from there, but I don't see it as having to be like one or the other. Now, realistically, the Anthony Joshua fight, it's not going to happen next, is it? It's probably going to happen in the summer. Because summer, I mean, I've heard Eddie Hearn talk about it. You look at the fact that it's probably going to be at Wembley Stadium. Everything points towards it being a big fight in the summer. Now, the Dillian Whyte fight before, if Wilder was to win, would obviously provide a very good kind of build-up to that fight. And Wilder would come over here. He'd get a massive exposure. Everyone would know who he is. And it would just work out perfectly for him if he did win and for Eddie Hearn and Joshua. Now, obviously for Dillian Whyte, if he won that, which I think he had a good chance of doing, that would set him up for a rematch with Anthony Joshua. And he would basically take the place of Wilder. So for me, it would be very, very interesting. Now that's what I would like to see, personally. I expect Wilder to beat Stavern pretty comfortably, and then after that, presumably he won't have to fight a mandatory, with Stavern being the mandatory. So I mean, it depends what options he has on the table. Because as I say, the Joshua fight is realistically going to be in the summer. They're not going to make it because they're going to want to do it outdoors at Wembley Stadium. They're going to make it like a big event. They're not going to want to do it at like the O2 or something like that. It's not going to happen in America because neither Wilder nor Joshua are big enough in America to make it a big Las Vegas fight. Do you know what I mean? Las Vegas obviously costs a lot of money, so neither of them are big enough to really carry that. You need a, like a Mayweather or Canelo, Pacquiao, these kind of characters really to make a big Las Vegas fight. So right now the obvious place for that is Wembley. So I don't see the problem. If Wilder is that confident, he's saying the other day that his door is open. Well, I don't see the problem. Fight Dillian Whyte first. If he's as easy as you say he is, then fight Anthony Joshua in the summer. And that's not me trying to. I know some people are going to come on here and start saying, "Oh, you're trying to, put Dillian Whyte out like to sort of protect Anthony Joshua, some kind of sacrificial lamb." I've seen people saying, not at all. I think Dillian Whyte's got a very good chance of beating Deontay Wilder, and I'd like to see him get the opportunity. I mean, if Deontay Wilder can beat Dillian Whyte, then obviously he can fight Anthony Joshua next. If Dillian Whyte wins, he can fight Anthony Joshua next. That's what I want to see. Failing that, because I think there's a good chance that Deontay Wilder isn't going to take that fight. He doesn't seem that keen to fight Dillian Whyte for whatever reason. So Joseph Parker is another possibility. I think it's more likely that Joseph Parker is going to want to fight the winner of Haye Bellew, because he's saying that he's going to base himself in the UK. Fought against Hughie Fury. Yeah, it wasn't the best fight in the world. Eddie Hearn's done his best to sort of like talk it down and try to downplay Joseph Parker's name, but he's still a respected name in boxing in the UK. So him against the winner of Haye Bellew, I think would be more attractive to him, especially if it's David Haye, because that's a bigger name. It's more prestige. People consider him as he's a former heavyweight champion. Be a much bigger exposure. So I think if David Haye wins that fight, then yeah, Joseph Parker's going to be all over that. If Tony Bellew wins the fight, yeah, I think that would possibly be an opponent for him as well. They would look at. I think Dillian Whyte. I mean, don't get me wrong. Tony Bellew is no mug, and he is better than I've given him credit for in the past. He's a decent fighter, and he's a very good cruiserweight. But I think Dillian Whyte is better, definitely at heavyweight, and I think that would be a much tougher fight. And I'm a lot more of a Dillian Whyte fan than I am Tony Bellew. I prefer to see him get the opportunity. And if Dillian Whyte does win, it sets it up as well for big fights in the heavyweight division. Because I can't see Tony Bellew. He's already said he's not going to fight Anthony Joshua. He's not going to fight Deontay Wilder. So, Dillian Whyte will fight all these people. So that's what I want to see happen. So yeah, I mean, Carlos Takam, pretty good opponent. Look forward to it. Dillian Whyte obviously fighting Helenius next, which is a decent fight. Now that's the kind of fight I think he needs at this point. So hopefully he can put on a good performance there and keep climbing up those WBC rankings. So people keep saying, "Oh, he's not a worthy opponent." Well, it'll be more and more difficult to say that the further up those rankings he gets. So yeah, let me know what you lot think. And thank you very much for watching.